Questions and answers from the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. On Visions, Part 4. From Sri Aurobindo. The visions and experiences you have described are all of the mental plane and show a great openness and purity of the inner mental being, free from unfavorable influences. But it is difficult to tell the precise significance of those that are in the nature of colors, lights, a star, etc., because they depend on contacts which are personal to the sadhak. The first 5 are of this kind and appear to indicate contact with powers, influences, personalities, godheads, etc., of the higher mental plane. Example, the light of pink color might be that of some influence or godhead of love or bhakti in contact with the mental being. In some cases, it may be the figure of a formation of the mental being itself. The flowers, diamonds, and gems, etc., would seem to indicate contact with Radha, Mahalakshmi, and Mahakali influences. The vision of writing is also frequent on the mental plane. It is known by us as the lipi, and if it organizes itself so as to be legible and intelligible, it can embody many things, such as intuitions, messages from one or other of the mental planes. The voice you heard was probably one of these messages. There is no necessity to explain the vision of the form of the mother and mine, for that is clear. The dream was on the vital plane. Dreams or visions on the vital plane are usually either symbolic vital visions, actual occurrences on the vital plane, formations of the vital mind, either of the dreamer or of someone else with whom he contacts in sleep, or of powers or beings of that plane. No great reliance can be put on this kind of experience. These are visions of the vital world and the vital planes, and one sees hundreds of them there. Those of the type of the first have no significance. They are only things seen just as on earth you may see a man bathing in water. The other seems to indicate a being or else simply a force given form entering into the consciousness. All parts of the consciousness are like fields into which forces from the same planes of consciousness in the universal nature are constantly entering or passing. The best thing is to observe without getting affected in either way or without attaching too much importance, for these are minor experiences and one's concentration must call the major ones. Most of these visions are the result of your getting into contact with a certain field of forces in the vital world which are at present creating the pressure for war and revolution and all catastrophic things in Europe. It was from here that these menacing visions were coming. There is no coherence or reality in them. Chinnamasta is a symbol of this kind of force, feeding, as it were, the world with her own blood. They have to be at once rejected. It was not meant that you should be inactive, but that there was sufficient force gathering to carry on the sadhana, as if by an automatic action. But the consent of the sadhak, his rejection of all that comes against is always necessary. This gazing on a flame or a bright spot is the traditional means used by yogis for concentration or for awakening of the inner consciousness and vision. You seem to have gone by the gazing into a kind of surface, not deep trance, which is indeed one of its first results, and begun to see things probably on the vital plane. I do not know what were the dreadful objects you saw, but that dreadfulness is the character of many things first seen on that plane, especially when crossing its threshold by such means. You should not employ these means, I think, for they are quite unnecessary, and besides, they may lead to a passive concentration in which one is open to all sorts of things and cannot choose the right ones. The correspondent had two visions in dream, one of a young lad standing waist deep in water, another of a woman's face which looked at the correspondent and then entered his chest. One can see visions either with open or closed eyes or both. It is a matter of temperament or idiosyncrasy which one starts with.